So in this video, I am going to show how to prepare wadding to go on pots that are going into a wood firing, a soda firing, or in our case, in the Kazegama kiln, which is a wood ash and soda firing. And you put wadding on the bottoms of the pots because when we introduce things into the atmosphere that create glaze on the surface, it most oftentimes runs, and the wadding keeps it from being fused to the shelf. This wadding is made with 50% alumina hydrate and 50% EPK. And it's a wonderful wadding because it comes off of the pot really easily after the firing. We did some wadding with sawdust in there, and it was really a disaster because as the wood ash glaze moved down onto the wadding, it turned it into stones, and it was really hard to get it off. So you can see I've rolled this wadding into a coil, and then I just cut the pieces into the same size, and then I roll it and I turn it into basically the shape of a candy corn in Halloween, and the tip is where I'm going to attach to the pot, and the base is where I'm going to have it stand. And so I'll take each one and make that shape. Now this wadding is just a perfect firmness. It has been stirred up when I put the two ingredients together to blend it, and we've done it in a spray booth with a mask on, and it was done really stirred up and then water added until it's very plastic and movable, but it's not sticky wet at all. If it's sticky wet, it's really not manageable, and it'll squish really flat and be like pancakes under your pots, which makes it so much harder to get the wadding off. A lot of times if you do wadding like these candy corns, then they will just pop off. So I highly recommend it. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this mug and I'm gonna wad the base. This is about 3 inches across, so I know I can comfortably get away with a 3-point wadding. As the base gets wider, I get more intentional about more wads. If you do uneven numbers, it balances better. So I'm gonna set the point up on the floor of the pot, like this. And now I'll let this Elmer's glue dry just a little bit, and then I'll turn it over and seat it. So while it's setting up, I'll do another one. And you can see in the video that I've prepared quite a few little balls of wadding so that I can do quite a few pieces before it's time for them to set up. Now, if I put this wadding way out at the edge, then glaze from the atmosphere can hit and roll down on the wadding. If you scoot it in just a little bit, you're way more likely to avoid having glaze on your wadding. The wadding is doing its job, but it's easier to pop it off if it never gets hit by glaze. Now, the bigger and heavier the pot gets, the bigger your wadding needs to be. But little pots do not need huge balls of wadding. So this wadding I'm getting into now has actually been setting up for a while. So I'm gonna push it down just a smidge. And then I'll just show you how I seat it. I turn it over and I just make sure that it's landed nicely on all 3 points. And that is all I do to seat a pot. If the wadding's real soft, I won't do it yet. Now this is a bigger piece, but I still think I can get away with 3 points. I just need bigger wadding. So I'm gonna make that now. I'm gonna roll this out. And I'm not gonna roll it out quite as thin. Let me get some wadding that's just a little softer. So this is probably about maybe an inch in diameter. And I'm gonna cut 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And I'll still make the teardrop shape or the candy corn. And on this piece, I'll set it just a smidge into the inside and on the piece. Now, if you wait too long to turn it over and seed it, your wadding will get really hard and you won't have a nice seated footing. So don't wait too long to turn over and compress. But when you do turn over and compress, it's gentle. It's not strong push down, just a little smidge, and you're ready to go. So I'm not gonna turn this one over yet. I'll give it a little longer, but when I do, I'll give it just a little smidge like I did these cups, and it'll be ready to go. You'll know if it's not time to turn over yet because the wadding will fall off. Okay. Again, this wadding is 50% aluminum hydrate, 50% EPK. It's mixed up together in a spray booth with the mask on, and then water added until it's very pliable and movable, but not tacky wet at all. I hope this video was helpful, and we'll get to preparing our pots for the next firing.